So I guess the point is, sometimes really big companies have to think small in order to get huge.
All right, we're rolling.
This is what everybody wants to see. A middle-aged man getting water from the refrigerator.
Dude, let's talk about that manufacturer stuff on camera.
Oh, all right. Yes. Okay. This is cool. So if you are in a business where it's kind of weird, not meaning your business is weird, but let's say it's not the type of business that you would immediately think would work for social media ads, I want you to try a strategy. So here's the backstory, okay? I have this person that we're starting to work with, and they are a wholesale distributor for a manufacturing company, right? So their job is to go out and get distributors for the stuff that the manufacturing company make. Number one, first question I asked is a lot of stuff to make sure it would make sense for them to do social media advertising in the first place is, what's a customer worth to you, right? In terms of gross profit to the business. Turns out the customers were $25,000 to them. So I'm thinking, okay, this is pretty good, right? We can probably get a customer through advertising for significantly less than that, and that is, of course, profit. The question then becomes like, how do you do it, right? Because it's not a mass market thing. So a lot of businesses think that social media stuff is only if you're selling, I don't know, diet pills or some sort of coaching or books or whatever. But in reality, everybody is on social media. So it's probably best if I draw this for you, actually. Is the light okay? All right, so here's the deal on this person, okay? They are the distributors for a wholesale manufacturer, and their job is to get like other retail stores to carry these specific products. Let's pretend they're in the car stereo business. They're not, but out of respect for them, let's pretend they're in the car stereo business. So the question becomes, all right, if you're in that type of situation, right, where you're not necessarily going to the mass market, but you have like this really smaller audience of very valuable customers, how do you use social media to get them? There are 3 steps, basically. Okay, step number 1, specifically for this client, all right, is going to be demonstrate desire. All right, let me preface this by telling you how this person's sales process works. We know that in order for someone to want to distribute these speakers in their retail store, they need to believe 2 things to be true. Number 1, that customers actually want to buy them. Like no one wants to have all this inventory in their store that nobody wants. So that's thing number 1. All right. So we have to demonstrate that to be true. Here's what we're going to do in our first wave. All right. There are, interestingly enough, only 8,000 potential prospects for my client here in the world. 8,000. However, each prospect, if they become a customer, they're worth at minimum $25,000 of gross profit to this person's business. So it's not like we need a lot of them for this strategy to pay off. So the very first thing we did, knowing there's only 8,000, is instead of just like trying to target all 8,000 of them, like, because how could you? You know, I mean, they're retail stereo stores, and they have to be a certain criteria and all this kind of stuff. Really hard just to target them blanketly on social. So what we did, and here's the strategy, this is what we want to deploy for this person, is we want to identify the top 50 that he wants to get, like in the first wave of the campaign. So let's say this is the United States, right? So we're just going to identify the top 50. First thing we're going to do is we're going to start targeting everybody within, say, a 20-mile radius of each of these 50 retail locations with ads that talk about the actual product. Now, what's the point of these ads? The point of these ads is to cause all of the customers of this retail establishment to go, hey, you guys have that speaker I've been seeing all those ads for? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to manufacture and build genuine desire for this product and cause this business owner to have that desire demonstrated to them by customers literally saying, hey, do you carry this stuff? So that's step number 1. So that's relatively easy for us to do. We do it with long form videos like running commercials on Facebook. Pretty cheap too, because we're doing geographic targeting. Okay, but that's only the first part. All right, so now here, let's switch to a different colored market. We're going to do that for them for a couple weeks, really build up the demand for this stuff, and then we're going to start targeting the owners and the staff who work for all of these retail establishments. All right, and in that, we're going to do step number 2. Step number 2 is going to be motive. We are going to appeal to their primary motivation for wanting to carry this particular product in their stores in the first place. What do you think that motivation might be? profit. Here's what's really, really good about my client. His customers, if someone chooses to carry these materials in their store, they will make more money per sale because of the various benefits of the things that are going to be carried in the store. Again, let's say they're car speakers, right? So what we need to do now is we need to demonstrate that their motivation will be met, okay? So we'll now create a series of ads that are educational in nature, that target the staff and the owners of these retail establishments, demonstrating to them, hey, if you want to make more money per car, per stereo installed, here are the 5 things that need to happen. And by the way, this particular product is one of the ones that you could sell to actually make that happen, right? So of course it'd be better scripted than that. I'm just giving you the big picture. All right. Now, what's going to happen here is 2 things. These ads, where we're creating the desire, that's going to cause consumers to call the local stores and say, hey, you got those speakers? These ads, where we're demonstrating the motivation, is going to cause the owner to go, maybe I should carry those stereo speakers, right? So now we've got a pretty good combo. As a result of this, these guys might outbound my client, and they might say, hey, you the guy that distributes those speakers? I'm kind of interested in carrying them. But we're not going to stop there, right? And here's step number 3 is know the process, all right? Now here's where a lot of agencies are going to drop the ball on you if you're running ads. An agency's got to be intimately familiar with your sales process. So when I spoke to this person, I said, how does it work? How is somebody going to become a customer for you? What needs to happen? And he says, well, they got to talk to me. We have to have a little bit of a relationship. They need to see the stuff and actually see a demonstration of how well it works and everything. And then they'll become a customer. Well, clearly, we can't do all of that online. So our process, our job here is to initiate that conversation and build that relationship. So if we know that, here's what we're going to do. Number 1, these blue arrows here, these represent the ads that are directed toward the owners of the store. Of course, that's going to encourage them to reach out to my customer. However, we're going to take it one step further, and that is we're going to follow up. All right? So step number 1, we're going to FedEx a letter to each of these store owners that might say something like, hey, all those ads you've been seeing about those speakers and all the people that are asking about them? If you're interested in carrying them, I can show you how they work and you might like them and you might want to carry them. Give me a call. Okay? That's step number 1. Obviously, it'll be written a little bit better than that. I'm giving you the big picture. Step number 2 is going to be, we're going to follow up. Okay? We're going to follow up and we're going to call them. Hey, this is Bob from the place that distributes those stereo speakers. I sent you a letter the other day. You've probably been seeing ads about all these stereo speakers for the past couple of weeks. Any interested in carrying them? Now, here's the deal. Some of the biggest companies in the world, this is their model, right? They make stuff, they get people to distribute their products, and then the company grows. Sometimes really huge companies need to think very, very small in order to get really big. We've built this entire campaign ultimately just to try to reach these 50 ideal clients. But each client is going to be worth $25,000. Man, if we only get 10 of them, that's $250,000 to the bottom line right there, right? So social media is not just about selling mass market stuff. It's not just about posting pictures of what you had for breakfast. It can be used in almost any business context as long as you really understand the mechanics of how someone becomes a customer for your business and what needs to happen in order for them to want to do business with you. My name is Frank Kern for KernBranding.com. Hope you found this whole thing helpful. If you know anyone else who might benefit from it, please feel free to share it with them. Till then, take it easy.